Hello everyone, I'm Magdalena from Serbonica, and in this video I'm explaining the third group of the Serbian verbs. If you haven't watched the first two videos about this topic, please first watch them because they come before this one. You need to understand the previous two videos to understand this one. This is a Serbian grammar video and I'm explaining grammar here. If you want more exercises, more vocabulary, more quizzes and all that, register on Serbonica and use the Serbian Verb Magic course. Okay, so let's get started. Serbonica. This is the third part, and I'm explaining the third group of the verbs. Let me remind you, the first two groups were E verbs and A verbs. We've learned some universal endings and some special endings, typical endings for these groups. The third group of the verbs are E verbs. A typical E verb is the verb, for example, raditi. What does it mean? Raditi? Šta znači raditi? To work. Do you know how to conjugate it? Let's do it together. Ja radim. Ti radiš, on radi. Mi radimo, vi radite, oni rade. Oni rade. Okay, let's analyze this verb and compare it to the previous two. So it's an E verb. It has et in the infinitive, but not necessarily. I've explained that, we've seen it. But it has an E in the present tense stem. Radim, radiš, radi. And you can see this in the singular. We have the typical stem vowel, E, and we have the universal ending. For ja, it's m. For ti, it's sh. And for on, it's no consonant. That's the ending, the universal ending. In plural, again, we have this typical E from the stem. And we have the typical endings mi radimo, vi radite. The universal endings are there. And then, here's a surprise. We have an E ending here in the third person plural. E. Oni rade, which is completely different from the U endings that we've seen previously. E will make you think of this. It will make you think of the third person singular, like on zove. I'm sorry, this is an unfair segment of our grammar, but that's what it is. Simply, it goes to E here. E in the singular third person goes to E in the plural of third person. Most verbs in this group have an iti infinitive. But a lot of verbs also have an eti infinitive. This is typical for the E group of verbs. So infinitives either end in iti or eti, the most of them, not all of them. There's a little number of verbs ending in ati in infinitive, but mostly they are iti and eti. And this iti and eti will help you remember on radi, oni rade. On voli, oni vole. That's from the verb voleti, to love. On želi, oni žele. That's from the verb želeti, to wish or to want. On uči, oni uče, the verb učiti, to learn or to study. All right, guys? So this is the third group of the verbs, the E group for the E verbs. And if you want more exercises and vocabulary with examples, with exercises and quizzes, you know what to do. Serbonica and the Serbian Verb Magic course. Serbonica.